All right, Carlos, thank you so much for hanging out with me on the podcast. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Tell everybody where you're from.
So I'm from Miami, born and raised. Pizzeria had to be in my neighborhood. It's suburbs of Miami. It's called Kendall. But yeah, from here.
Excellent. How did you get into pizza?
I think like a lot of people recently, pandemic was a big part of that. My background is Japanese, fine dining. I worked in Peru as well,
Really?
London. Yeah, I was living in DC. Um, we were in the process of testing our menus, and everything got kind of put on hold with the pandemic. But prior to that, I didn't feel like making dinner when I got home. My wife was also working, and I picked up a frozen pizza, and I was like, "Oh, this is horrible." And it was leaning into the weekend or leading into the weekend, and I was like, I've never made pizza before. Let me. And I think I started with like a King Arthur recipe from the internet, and was also disappointed again. So
I
yeah,
think that's how a lot of people get started, right? They probably
yeah,
Google
yeah,
something or go to YouTube and try to figure out a recipe. Then you got to tweak it from there, right?
yeah, definitely, definitely. YouTube is a
What kind
saving
of pizza
grace,
do you
though.
guys make? Yeah, that's how
So
you get
we do,
started.
yeah, we do Detroit's. They're not. I'm not going to say it's the most traditional Detroit. We're not using brick cheese. We do a raw sauce, kind of how you would see like on a New York pie.
Yeah,
And then even our toppings aren't necessarily traditional when it comes to what I've seen from Detroit pizzerias. But that's our main focus. And then once a month, we do like round pie nights and specials for our regulars, so that also our staff can have some fun.
that's cool.
But yeah, Detroit's.
That's awesome. How long you been open for?
So our current location, it's been a year and a half. We had a pop up in a bar with my now business partner, and that was going for about a year. And then prior to that, it was about 6 months out of my house on Saturdays from my home oven, which is how it started. Selling to
That's great.
friends. Yeah,
So you kind of just got
yeah,
to tested out your recipe, got feedback from people. That's a good way to do
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. And it helped a lot. And good thing is I have a lot of honest friends, and I'm also very honest with myself.
Yeah,
I'll more often than not, I don't like something I make. So it takes me a while to get to that point, and then when I'm finally there, I really believe it when I tell myself this is something that works. This is something good.
that's great. You know what? You know what? I've never heard anybody talk about, and maybe you can tell me. So when you're doing that, right? Like, how many pizzas did you make out of your house? Do you think that you
Out of my
didn't?
house,
Yeah,
so we were doing when I first started Vice, I was doing Neapolitan. It had some wheat flour in it, and
yeah,
we are cooking it on a uni like everyone else in the
yeah.
country, and a little bit lower temp, so it had some better texture. And that was about 70 pizzas every Saturday. And
Wow, that's
then
pretty good.
yeah, I was limited by the space like everybody that did
Yeah,
these. And then when I switched over to Detroit, I started with 20 Lloyd pans, and I would wake up around 4 in the morning, proof my first batch in the Lloyd, park cook, and keep doing that. And I would end up with anywhere to 60 to 80 pizzas when I started with the Detroits.
that's great. Did you do the Detroits out of the uni?
No, I did them out of my home oven. I tested it
Okay.
both ways.
Yeah.
Out of the home oven, I would lower the rack to the bottom since the heating element's on the bottom, and I would be able to do 5 pizzas at once, which is what I would limit the person to allow for pre-order. And nothing. What are they called? The fire bricks on the
Yeah.
top, so that you have that radiant heat coming back down. And crank that oven to 550. It let me go up to, and just pray it doesn't blow up. Yeah, little
That's a lot of
electric.
pressure to put on a home
Yeah,
oven,
I think.
right?
Yeah, and literally all the money I was making from that, I was just basically emergency in case the oven goes out. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got no
Honestly, it was
business
more
out of
for
that.
testing and creating hype than anything and seeing where it would go.
How were you getting the word out? Were you using Instagram back then?
Instagram, still the only thing,
Yeah.
it's been our saving grace. Without it, I don't think we'd be a thing, you know.
You're doing a great job on Instagram too. Your photos of your pizza look amazing. I've never had your pizza, but it looks good on
Thank you.
Instagram, which is a
Yeah,
plus.
hopefully soon.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll be
that's
down there
that's one
pretty
thing for
soon.
us. Okay, let
What
me know.
What do you use to take photos? Just your iPhone?
So when I have time, I my camera's over here next to me, but I do wildlife photography as a hobby. So I
Okay.
do have my camera gear and everything. So when I do have time, the more professional looking images, that's myself with like my lighting setup and everything. And then when it's just like spur of the moment things, it's usually my phone. I try and do as much natural lighting as I can. If not, I have a little LED light, but
Yeah.
most times it's my phone.
So you are a camera kind of professional, so you kind of know what a good photo should look like.
Avid
When I say
hobbyist. I
professional,
don't want to. Yeah,
well,
no,
yeah.
I know what you mean.
When I say
I just,
professional, I mean like as a pizza guy, you're a photo professional, right? Like as a
yeah.
wildlife photographer, you're probably not. But like
Definitely
as a
not.
pizza guy, you're
Yeah,
definitely more of a pro.
yeah. I think,
But they look
thank,
great.
thank you.
So what made you just do? So you started out doing like Neapolitan. What made you do Detroit in your pizzeria?
So when I was doing the Neapolitans, a lot of people were like, "Oh, pizza's delicious, but I wish there was more cheese. I wish it was crispier." And I'm like, "That's not the type of pizza it is, you know."
Yeah.
Um, and it's that I love Neapolitans. I travel to Italy quite often, so it's always been a thing that I look for. Um, and here in Miami, there's a thing, Cuban pizza. It's not very good. I'm half Cuban, so I kind of like grew up with that stuff.
What is it?
But it's a pan pizza.
Yeah.
Sadly, nobody's ever taken it past the level it's at now, but it's always same day dough, very fast. You're talking about an hour proof. Cheese all the way to the edge. I'm not sure the cheese they use, but it tastes like what they use in the Midwest, that Provel type thing.
Okay.
And then again, Cuban pizzerias, they're not necessarily using the highest quality stuff, so I'm pretty sure it's canned, ready go pizza sauce with maybe some like Cuban sazons in there. So
Is it the
I
pizza? I think
figured,
I might have seen it on Instagram. Is it like they cut it with a knife?
uh,
Or is it really
no,
cheesy? Like really super
so
cheesy?
yeah, it's very heavy. It's usually I'd say about an 8 inch round, and it
Okay.
should be able to fold without cracking, meaning there's no
Oh, okay.
texture to it, no
Yeah,
crisp.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I figured Detroit being a pan pizza, cheese all the way to the edge, just like the Cuban pizza, maybe people will go for that, but I really wanted to hit home with the lightness and the dough, the high quality ingredients, and just kind of, and it kind of took off from there.
That's great. So people like, kind of embrace it in your area.
Yeah. I mean, I opened the pizzeria in the neighborhood I grew up. My high school is like 5 minutes from there.
Okay.
So So I have a lot of support from my area. I'm very
That's great.
grateful.
Is there any other pizza places serving Detroit style pizza in your area?
Uh, Not in my like direct area. As far as Miami, the county, yeah, there is. I'd say there's three. There was four. One of them sadly closed recently. Even though they wouldn't use the term Detroit pizza, that's kind of what they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's three other pizzerias: Square Pie City in Wynwood, which is amazing. Mama Doors, which is technically in our same suburb, but 20 minutes southeast,
Okay.
and No Name Pizza, which is like a small pop up type thing that's has a little permanent home in Wynwood.
So
So
it's
it's
starting to
it's
become a
it's
thing
grown
there.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I feel like it has to be a really light Detroit style pizza though in that area because it's probably really hot down there in the summer, right? So like Detroit style pizza, if you do it wrong, could be heavy.
Yeah, I mean, from what I can tell from eating the pies, everyone's doing the par bake method. Everyone's pretty high hydration. I know two of them are
Yeah.
sourdough. I don't do sourdough. I personally don't like sourdough for thicker pies.
Yep.
I do sourdough for rounds and breads at home and things like that. But yeah, I think everybody does them pretty high hydration, keep them light. I think the differences between the, what is it, four of us, might be the way we sauce our pizzas, the type of tomatoes, whether it's cooked sauce, raw sauce, things like that. But yeah, I think everybody for the most part, from what I've had, they're very light in comparison to like a Jets or a Buddies, stuff like that.
Yeah. I like it. There's a place near me, Blue Square Pizza. You may have seen them on Instagram.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, their stuff looks
But
great.
yeah, he does he does a great job with his Detroit style. If you look at it, you'd be like, wow, that must be a heavy pizza. But then you eat it, it's like super light and airy, and he does a really good job. So that's kind of what I look like. There's another place near me that does Detroit style, and I thought they were good until I had Troy's. Not that they're not good anymore, but like it's a
Yeah,
heavier
it's
pizza.
just Yeah, yeah. No, of course, I understand.
You
Yeah,
know, you kind of have an evolution of taste buds as you see more places, or like you, as you tweak your recipe and you do it more and more and more, you try to improve every time. And you'll probably go
yeah,
back to your first
100%.
church style pizza and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I served that thing.
Funny enough, I send photos to my cousin is what I consider the chef for Vice because he's been with me since we had our permanent pop-up location prior to this,
Yeah.
and he runs it day to day for me because I have a baby now, so I spend a little more time at home, and I send photos to him all the time. I'm like, look at the crap we used to make. I was like, this is such an ugly pizza, and people were loving it, which I appreciate the support, but I was like, I feel Vice now it's a completely different pizza than it was 3 years ago too, and even a year ago. I think it's the best it's ever been, and the time I do spend in there, we're tweaking always, and we're always trying to make better.
That's, yeah. A lot of people say that a lot of people I've noticed who you think of that has great pizza, you'd think they're like, all right, I got a great pizza. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to keep doing it the same. But they always kind of change and want to improve it and get better at it. And I was always fascinated by that because a lot of pizzerias don't do that. They just have their recipe and they just continuously make it over and over and over again.
I get it. I think that's that whole argument. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But
Yeah.
it's my background coming from like more fine dining. Um, when I'm at the pizzeria, sometimes I can get a little like bored is the wrong word, but I feel like stuck. So I'm always seeing how I can make, our pizza the best that we can for our neighborhood. And whether it's changing tomatoes, like I have zero brand loyalty. If I taste something and it's better, I'll test it
Yeah.
on my pizza and I'll switch over with it. I just changed my tomatoes, one of my tomatoes 2 months ago, and I I have no issues doing that. Anytime we think we can make something better, we will. And
That's a good attitude to have, though.
yeah, I always hope it translates to the customers and they think that. But we haven't had an issue yet, thankfully.
I wonder if they even notice. Like, we notice because we taste
I,
the pizza all the time. I wonder if they do.
we've had people that have mentioned it to us. Oh, you changed your tomatoes, and I'll go talk to them like, yeah, I found this tomato that I really love. Or, a big change for us was the jump from Ezzo pepperoni to the Rosa Grande, and
Yeah.
I love both. They're both great quality. Honestly, price is the exact same for the vendor we buy from. It's just when I tasted that Rosa Grande, I was like, oh, this is like a nostalgic taste to this pepperoni. And also, the issue we had with Ezzo was we had every once in a while complaints, oh, the pepperoni is burnt. And I'm like, no, it's designed to get dark, it's cup and char. So
Yeah.
we didn't have that issue at all with Rosa Grande. So that was another big switch for us.
Yeah, you gotta continue. I like that though. I appreciate going into a place of someone who's always looking to improve their product. That means they care and they want to serve the best possible product other than just like checking it off the list and doing the same thing over and over again. Not that that's
Yeah.
bad, but
Yeah.
I don't mind
No,
someone
no,
changing their product.
of course. I think, granted, we want to be around forever. There's a pizzeria in the Westchester area of Miami, just not too far from where we're at, and they've been around since I think the '60s or
Oh
even the
wow.
'50s. Yeah, it's called Frankie's Great Square Pizza. Funny enough, anytime anybody's mad at us, they always like, "Oh, Frankie's is better." I'm like, I love them too. Like, they're doing something right. They've been around forever, but I think again, I don't know how many changes they've made over the past decades, but I think the key to that is that they maybe don't make changes. So we hope we're finding our sweet spot. We're also still very young
Yeah.
relative.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, as we're improving, I'm sure we're going to hit a point where the changes will slow down or stop completely because we feel like we're, finally 100% there.
Yeah, I mean, the 60s, that's like 80 years ago. They've been around for
Yeah,
a long
yeah,
time. They've had plenty of time to tweak their recipe.
exactly. Yeah. And in my lifetime, I probably didn't never saw those changes because they were
Yeah,
already around for a
right.
long time.
I'm sure in the
Yeah,
first 10 years they were there, they were like like tweaking their recipe, changing things around until they finally got
exactly.
it right. And obviously they did. For a business
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
around that long selling pizza,
Yeah,
it's
and
not
still
that heard
always
of.
busy.
Yeah.
Still always busy.
I feel like the Florida pizza scene's coming on a lot better than it used to. I don't know if it's just the internet's helped or it just had a bad
It's,
reputation forever.
I honestly think the pandemic, so everything in South Florida, as far as I'm aware, is like pandemic time.
Yeah.
In Delray, you have another Detroit spot. Delray is in a completely different county than us, and
That's
that's,
north,
I
right?
mean, Yeah, it's
Yeah.
northeast, and it's they're doing Detroit great pie. You have Soto Square in Orlando, great pizza as well. So, but then here in Miami, Old Greg's prior to
Oh
closing,
yeah.
sadly, they were a pandemic pizzeria as well. Square Pie City was probably the original Detroit. I think they've been doing Detroit since 2018. But Mama Dora, No Name Pizza, myself, all the like better pizzerias in Miami have been pandemic. Miami Slice included, which a lot of people crown them best pizza in Miami.
Yeah. The pandemic made it made possible for pop-ups to happen and people to experiment and have time to like kind of create the pizza that they always wanted to create at home and make it with those unis and Gauzy ovens too. Like that made it super easy to do. They're really affordable. They work pretty well. I feel like that's the one good thing that came out of the pandemic is all these people making pizza and like making it a
Yeah,
business now.
yeah, definitely. I think it's helped a lot of people and it kind of forced people into what is it called? Rethinking their
Yeah.
role in this industry. Not everybody wanted to be stuck as a head chef somewhere forever, which kind of like what happened to me. I called my dad while I was in DC and I was like, they cut my pay by 75%. We don't know when the pandemic's ending. I need to come back to Miami. I was like, but I don't want to be in a restaurant again.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to work for anybody again.
It's probably good that you chose Detroit style too, because Neapolitan pizza, as good as it is, it's not versatile at all. It's like you eat it at the
No.
restaurant, or you don't, or it's not a good product really.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And, you know, people, they don't understand Neapolitan. Like, you know, and I get it. Texture is a big thing when you're eating. And sadly, that's where Neapolitan lacks. What I love about Neapolitan is the simplicity in the tomatoes, where you pick up the
Yeah,
mineral notes of the quality of the DOP tomato, the fresh mozzarella. I think because the US is so shifted to like New York style and things like that, we like a little bit more texture, a little bit more cheese.
yeah. I think Neapolitan. I like Neapolitan too, but only if I eat it at the place,
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
like
No, it's not
takeout
worth
or
anything once
yeah,
you take out.
takeout or even cold. Like cold Neapolitan pizza is not the same as like
No.
cold Detroit pizza is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But
anytime I bring over from the house or to the house, it always makes its way cold because I we make it at the pizzeria and something happens. I can't leave the restaurant and it's been in a box for 2 hours and I finally get home and we eat it like that.
yeah, I like it. I love cold Detroit style pizza. I feel like it's like we have Greek pizza too. I don't know if you know what that is, but like in the Northeast here,
Yeah, I've
there's a lot
seen
of
videos. Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of like Greek pizzerias. I don't know how to explain Greek pizza. It's like a pan pizza.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you described as like the Cuban pizza, but a bigger version, right? Like it's a pan pizza. It's like not the highest quality of ingredients. It's almost like it's like a crap. I just call it like crap pizza because it's like not the best quality of ingredients, but that's good cold too. Like Greek pizza is
Yeah,
good
yeah.
cold too.
I haven't had it. One day I'll have it
Yeah,
whenever
you got
I'm
to come
out
to
there.
like the Northeast here. A lot of Greek immigrants
Okay.
here in the Northeast opened up roast beef shops, pizza shops. That's kind of like what we have here.
Oh, nice, nice.
So it's like it's a thing around here. But it was reminding me like that's another pizza that I could eat cold. Same with Detroit. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the ones that lends itself better, definitely. Yeah, I
Do
think so.
you are you a dine-in place or you do delivery and takeout?
No, we're dining. We're open 7 days a week. We actually have a bar set up, not with a
Oh,
liquor license, so we do beer, wine, and then we have wine-based cocktails, which
okay.
we found a really nice company. They're sake, but they age in rum barrels, they age in tequila barrels.
Oh,
So all
interesting.
our cocktails are using that as bases. We're using local fresh made juices. So it's dine in. I mean, the restaurant's very dark when you come in. We're always playing old school music. So we see ourselves as a little bit more than a pizzeria because we have all our apps, our desserts, everything made in house, arancini, meatballs, all this stuff. And then we are still like your neighborhood takeout spot.
What's percentage of dine-in versus takeout do you do?
So it's been changing the last few months. It used to be heavily dined in. We used to be like about 65% dine in.
Yeah.
I think I think the neighborhoods learned their lesson and are tired of kind of waiting because we used to have insane wait times. I would say Thursday through Sunday, we would have prior to opening, we would have people waiting already.
Wow.
Then people would come in at 5:02 and there would already be about an hour wait. And that would
Wow.
last on a Friday from 5 p.m. when we open all the way to about 8:39. And then it would slow down a little bit. We'll have a full dining room. So
That's crazy.
now
That's great though.
it's, yeah, yeah.
I mean, good
It's
for
just
you, not
now
for
it's the
them.
complete, yeah, now it's a complete opposite. Now, 5 o'clock, there's only two tables dining in, and you're there hanging out, and you're like, oh, it's slow, but then you see the oven and it's nonstop,
Wow.
and our takeout section is, tons of boxes. So numbers haven't changed. It's just it's been this pivot to takeout, and now it's 50-50.
Would you rather people dine in or take, does it matter to you?
Yeah, it matters to me. I wish more people would dine in. I think we scarred a lot of people in the beginning with the long wait times. We're only 25 seats, and on a Friday, we're doing 5 turns, which
Wow.
is crazy. Yeah, I mean, of all the years I've worked in a restaurant, you aim for 2.5, 3 turns. So we're
Yeah.
doing 5 turns out of a little 25-seat restaurant.
So you're running it
So
like a restaurant.
yeah, yeah, we have servers, we have, manager, I have my chef, we're actually in the works for number two now.
Oh, nice.
So, and it's going to be the same exact concept style.
Same area,
Um,
or where are you looking for that one?
so, I still don't want to say exactly where it is, but yeah, same area. We still want to be in the suburbs. We're going to be a little bit more east. But yeah, I mean, that the whole idea of Vice is we don't want to be in the city. One,
Yeah,
rents are outrageous, and Miami is a city that relies heavily on tourism.
it
So
does.
all the years I worked in Miami, I was Brickell, which is like our downtown Miami Beach, and you have 4 good months out of the year, but these $20 million a year restaurants, you make so much, you're able to survive the summer. I can't imagine a pizzeria, doing enough business and then having to survive without making any money and paying your staff. So we never want to deal with that. We
Yeah.
just want to open different suburbs in the county, and then eventually, hopefully, move up to the next county if it
You want
makes
your
sense for us.
customers to be locals, right? So you don't have to worry about like
Yeah,
the cyclical
100%,
fashion of it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Smart. Yeah, Miami's like a lot of tourists, a lot of cruises out of there, a lot of people coming, I'm sure, for like the winter time, kind of
yeah,
snowbirds from up here. I'm sure that's like that there.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard, it must be hard to run a pizzeria like that where you're constantly looking for customers to come in that are new.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't make sense. And the thing is, we're very lucky. Our rent in our neighborhood is very cheap. It's
Shh, don't
I'd
say that.
say
Your
it's
landlord might be listening. It's
not.
expensive as hell. Don't raise my rent.
It's just that whole area, honestly,
Yeah.
and I can't even imagine places that are paying 3, 4 times that per square foot. I don't know if you've ever heard of the neighborhood in Miami called Wynwood.
Yes, I have.
It's gone through tons of changes the last few years, especially most recently, but your price per square foot there is absolutely insane. I personally would never open a restaurant there.
That's crazy. What do you charge for like a pizza? Do you have different sizes or just one size?
So now we have two sizes, technically three, because for lunch we offer the 6x6 personal.
Okay.
So some places call it a slice, but we just do it we call it a little personal. And that one's
Do you make
nine
it like in its
bucks.
own pan?
Yeah, yeah. We bought little 6x6 pans, so
Oh,
we
nice.
just invested in some of those. Those we charge $9, choice of any pie, just like a flat $9. So obviously, if you're getting a pizza with toppings, it's worth it. We're kind of like if you want a cheese pizza, it's a little expensive. We almost recommend getting an 8x10.
Yeah.
So we're not the cheapest pizzeria, but we're also not the most expensive when you compare like all the top spots in the city. Um, I would say we range anywhere from $15 to $20 on our 8x10. And then our large pies, which is the 10x14 Detroits, they're all $11 more than whatever that same pizza is on the smaller size.
Yeah. So do people complain about the price at all to you?
I was very nervous about that in the beginning.
Yeah.
No, no, no. nobody's really complained. I think people, again, I was super nervous about that. But people have really taken to us and kind of accepted the quality that we offer, and they've never really ever mentioned the price. I think out of the several hundred reviews we have, Google, Yelp combined, we maybe have one or two complaints on price. That's about it, you know.
So you're
And those
probably doing a
people,
good job of explaining. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and those people won't ever come back. Also, when you're sitting down at a pizzeria and you have all these specials, seasonal, and all these cool stuff going on, I think people understand, like, okay, these guys are doing something a little bit different than,
Yeah.
your average spot.
Yeah. Was it hard to get that across to customers? Because I think customers, I mean, it's a little bit there. I think customers are getting better at understanding why prices are high and like the difference between a good pizzeria and a crappy regular pizzeria and why the prices are like that. But was it hard for you in the beginning or no?
No, I mean, so when I opened the actual restaurant, we already had so much hype built up from being an open at the pop-up location for a year, and prior to that being at my house, that we kind of locally already were a name.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I think if from out of the blue I was to open, maybe we would have had that issue, but people have been very understanding. Also, to be fair, we adjust our prices as the market goes. So chicken wings is the big one. One day they're 2.49 a pound, one day they're four. I'll adjust it all the time. If prices come down, my prices come down. I'm
Oh, that's
not,
good.
I know I'm not going to get rich off of selling somebody one pie. I need them to come back forever, essentially.
Yeah.
I need them to become a regular. So, which is why we brought on the personal pies for lunch, and now we offer half portion apps. So you can come in for lunch, get a half Caesar salad, half portion arancini, and a personal pie, and you don't have to spend, $60. You can spend $22 or whatever.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that you do that though. A lot of places don't do that. Just raise the price and then they just forget it. It is what it
No,
is.
no, I hate that.
Yeah, it's like because sometimes they spike and it's not like a permanent spike. It just spiked for some reason.
Just adjusting. That's the way I
Yeah,
see it. And certain stuff I won't like. If it goes up temporarily, and I'm talking about I only move it up if it's a big increase.
yeah.
But that's about it. Cheese goes up $1. I just leave it. Like I'm not going to benefit raising my pizzas 50 cents.
You probably adjust it every year anyway, so it's like that's a
Yeah,
yearly thing, not a weekly thing.
yeah,
But like the other commodities, like produce, sometimes produce. I remember being the thing in produce, like a case of lettuce would be like all of a sudden it's like $120, and I'm like, what the hell happened? Like
yeah,
why is salad just as much as a pizza now?
yeah. No, we use Little Gem for our Caesar, so that's always it's always jumping in price. It's a little
Yeah.
bit more expensive than the romaine and things like that.
Do you do just Detroit style? I know you said you do maybe once a week. You do New York style.
So we do rounds. I try and do them once a month. It gives something different for the staff, but also for the regulars. When we do our once a month round pie nights, we typically have like several specials going on. Whether a different arancini, we'll offer pastas, like super classic carbonaras. We did the last round pie night. We did a casarecce pasta with short bello genovese. So we just always do nice stuff so that people in the neighborhood could come in and have a completely different experience. So the pizzas, it'll be different tomatoes, different flour. I mean, the whole pizza is completely different.
Oh wow,
So
how's the
it's
feedback been on that?
essentially a different restaurant for that. Great. I keep doing it. Honestly, people tell us, oh, why don't you do both? I'm like, we're not set up for that.
Yeah,
It was a second gen restaurant, so the setup already isn't ideal, but it works. Um, but you know, every time I do it, I'm just like, I'd love to have a little pizzeria that I'm doing these type of rounds and a couple pastas and a couple small plates, for a neighborhood like proper sit down restaurant. I think it would work well.
I was
I'm
just thinking
I'm
that
I'm in love with
as you
those round pies.
yeah, I was just thinking that as you were explaining it. I'm like, that's probably a great thing to do. Like you're basically testing it out to see if people like them before you open another place, or if you ever wanted to open
Yeah,
a New York piece, you're kind of
yeah,
doing exactly what you did back at your house.
yeah, yeah. No, I love that that dough that we worked on. It's really good. two different flours, different hydration, fermentation, everything about it. It's honestly, it's a great pie. I friggin' love that pizza.
What
Like,
flours are you using? Is it a local flour or?
no, so for the round pies, I use Caputo Americana,
Okay.
and then I use a King Arthur organic whole wheat for that. So we do a small percentage of whole wheat, and then the hydration is a little bit higher than your typical New York. We're around 67%.
Okay.
And then we're baking in the oven for, I'd say about 8, 9 minutes, but at 580 deck temp. So it gets really nice char, but holds up super well. Really, really nice texture. I mean, we're excited for that pizza. We're actually, the next round pie night is the 16th of September.
Nice. Do you use the same oven?
Yeah, I use the same oven. Yeah, we have
What?
Marsal. Yeah, Marsal.
Okay.
Everything in our restaurants use my mixer. I don't even know the brand. When we opened, we had literally like we had staff on payroll and we had like $30 in the account and we're like, we need to make money. And thankfully the doors, thankfully we were slammed. So,
That's
because if
awesome.
not, I was gonna get another job to pay the staff. So
Oh my goodness, that's great. I'm glad it worked out, and it sounds like it's going pretty well for you because it sounds like you're pretty busy. So that's great.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's good that you're not, because sometimes they use deck ovens for not deck ovens, conveyor ovens for Detroit style
Conveyors,
pizza.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've never used a conveyor. Again, my background isn't pizza, so
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't find out about conveyor ovens until I saw them on Instagram, and I just I still have no idea how they work. There's a friend of mine that we haven't, yeah, we've met in person once. But we're like friends through Instagram. We
yeah.
talk all the time from our restaurant Instagrams. And he has a restaurant based out of Jersey and in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And he's doing Detroit's and a bunch of other stuff, but he
Is it
uses a
fine folk
conveyor.
pizza?
No, it's called Blue Steel Pizza.
Okay.
So the guy's name is Lawrence, really talented chef, and he uses conveyor. They don't do par bakes, so he was kind of asking me a bunch of questions because they maybe wanted to switch to par bakes,
Yeah.
but I guess with the conveyor was a bit tricky. But honestly, I don't think I'll ever make the switch from a deck oven. I really like the way they work, and par bakes make service super simple.
Yeah. You couldn't do a,
Yeah.
well, you could. Like, I wouldn't suggest you do it, but you could do like a New York and a conveyor, but it's not the same as a deck oven.
Yeah, I figured. I did see. I don't know who posted it. It was on Instagram, and it was a conveyor where instead of the like that mesh metal, it was single tile where they kind of roll over,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was like a deck, the same
Yep.
stone material, but
Yeah.
very thin. So I can imagine heat retentions very well.
I think I saw that at the National Restaurant Show this year, Fiero
Yeah, that's
Ovens.
who it was.
Yeah,
Fiero. Yeah, yeah.
they had a video of it, and I tried the pizza. That was actually really good. Now, conveyor ovens aren't bad. Like, they're very convenient. They're very easy to train someone on because you just put it on this side, it comes out the other side, right? There's no like
Yeah, yeah.
twisting or turning or anything. So, like, if you're looking for production and just volume, they're super easy to do. But they don't make the best pizza. It's nothing like a deck oven or a high heat oven that's like got a nice bottom on it. It never gets the nice bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did have pizza that was cooked on that kind of brick conveyor at the restaurant, and I was like, wow, this is good. This is gonna like be a game changer because you get
Yeah.
a similar brick oven style of flavor and taste, but the ease of just like putting the pizza down and it comes out the other side done.
No, I mean, it's only going to get better. I think,
Yeah,
all these engineers that they have working on this stuff, and for the sake of consistency and maybe less staff and things like that, I'm sure certain projects, me and my business partner, we've talked about being inside of the Miami Dolphins stadium if we
oh
were to
yeah,
ever do something like that.
that'd be
And
cool.
I think if we were to do ever something like that, I would have to do a conveyor at some point.
You know who you should talk to if you do that? Andy. You ever heard of Andy's Pizza in Washington?
West Coast, Washington?
No, Washington D.C. Sorry,
No, no. I was
Andy's
living there, but no, I didn't. I've
Andy's
never heard
Pizza.
of
I
it.
think they're like in the suburbs. They have like 6 or 7 locations now. He's been on the podcast in the
Oh,
past,
wow.
but he won a couple of years. He won Best Pizza at the Pizza Expo, and he uses that oven, the conveyor oven, but like a the brick conveyor oven. That's what he uses in his restaurants.
Oh wow.
So,
Yeah.
and he does, like, if you look at his Instagram, the pizzas look great. He has a lot of locations now, and
Andy's Pizza.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll
Andy's
look them up.
Pizza, ANDYS,
Okay.
in Washington D.C. And I messaged him because I'm like, I thought I saw like he won best pizza, and then I looked at his Instagram and I could tell it was a conveyor oven. I'm like, there's no fucking way he won best pizza with a conveyor oven.
He knows
So,
what he's doing. I mean, he
yeah.
has multiple locations. It
So
has
I
to be,
messaged
yeah.
him. I'm like, dude, do you use a conveyor oven? And he's like, yeah, he told me the name of the oven. I forget the name of it now, but he told me the name. I looked it up, and it was like the brick oven conveyor. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Oh, nice.
I've never,
Yeah.
conveyor ovens make decent pizza, but I've never had the best pizza in my life out of a conveyor oven. No offense to anybody
Yeah.
out there using conveyor ovens.
No, it makes sense. That makes
But
sense. But again, I mean, as the technology gets better for these
yeah,
things, they're probably going to be, just as good. Because
definitely.
I don't think you can improve on decks, just heat retention, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Is the big difference.
I think one time, I had Rick from Billy Bricks, we did a video. He's like talking about the wood fired oven, and you think Fiero has like one solid piece on the bottom. So it's not like different, like the dough doesn't get stuck, or there's no like jamming the peel into the bottom of it and ripping a hole in the bottom because it got stuck on one of the bricks. It's like just one flat surface. I think that's the only way to kind of improve on it if it's just one big flat surface.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I'm dealing with that at our pizzeria. We have 4 slabs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like if the guy puts it on the wrong slab, sometimes like you go to take it out and it rips a hole in it or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Rookies,
Exactly.
right? Rookies.
Yeah. It happens to me. Like it says on our menu for round pie nights, it says round-ish because I'm still learning every day. So, they come out round-ish.
That's great. So do you serve both on round pizza night? Do you serve just rounds?
No. Yeah, sorry, just rounds. Yeah. Our setup at all, it's not conducive to rounds to begin with, but there's definitely no way we can do both.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like you're having fun though. It sounds like you got a good business going on. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, we have a great team. I mean, pretty much everybody that's part of Vice now, they've been with us since the beginning, and some even since the pop-up. And our team is actually a bit overloaded now because we have people there in place that they were brought in with the intention of running the second location.
Yeah.
So, it's running like a dream now. I know the moment half these people leave, it's we're gonna have to hire, train, do everything. But I think we've been blessed with, great staff, and they just care when they're working. I see the pizzas that come out. And again, like I've mentioned, since my baby was born, I've taken a bit of a step back and I see just the quality of everything. And I always let them know how good they're doing,
That's
and
great.
I
When's the
always
new location
appreciate it.
opening?
So we don't have a hard date yet. We literally just came to an agreement on the space, but, we definitely, we're excited on it.
This year or next
We've
year?
been,
You think?
I think next year, I think early next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
think
gonna be
early
great.
next year. Yeah. But we've been looking at another location probably since 6 months after opening this one, and we just offers left and right, but we wanted to make sure we were in the right spot for us, and I think I think we found it now.
Yeah, you better off going slow, right? Taking a smart decision,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
rushing into anything.
Yeah, definitely. But it's kind of like that, taking it slow, but we also want to build on our momentum while,
Yeah.
people still think about us and talk about us, but I think being in the suburbs helps that because we're not relying on all these, outside factors.
Yeah, that's great. ViceCityPizza.com is your website. Vice.city.pizza on Instagram. Did you do any other, like TikTok or anything else, or just Instagram?
I had a TikTok for Vice. I don't know if I deleted it or just logged off my phone. But I'm only, how old am I? I'm 33. I forgot for a second. But using TikTok, I felt like an old man, and I was just like, I can't do TikTok.
So just Instagram.
So yeah, Instagram and Facebook, but Facebook is everything that I upload on Instagram populates to Facebook.
Right.
So
All right. Well, Carlos, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was really good to talk to you and get to know your business. And I can't wait to visit next time I'm in the Southern Florida area.
same, man. It was great. If you ever want to do this again, I'm always up for it. Maybe when
Yeah.
we have the second one rolling. And but yeah, let me know whenever you're in South Florida. We can go check out a few of the great spots down here. So you
We
can
should
see.
do a video. We should do a video. I'll come
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
We'll do some videos. Go to like the best pizza spots in that area. That'd be fun to do.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, like I said, Miami's insane right now. There's some excellent pizzerias. And then outside of Detroit, there's my favorite pizza in Miami. I think they're number one. They're currently a pop-up, but they're working on their spot for Tezzy, Jersey Bar Pie. Amazing pizza.
Oh, really? Yet they sent. Are they on Instagram?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send
Yeah,
it to
send
you.
me that Instagram when you. I want to take. I'll check them out. That'd be awesome to check out. But
Yeah.
we'll link up your website. We'll link up your Instagram in the show notes for this episode too. But Carlos, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was fun talking to you.
No, thank you, man. Appreciate it.